Look at this horse. It could fit on your lap. It could sleep in a doghouse. It could walk through a doggy door in your kitchen. And here is the part almost nobody in the United States actually knows. The way this animal gets measured, classified, and legally defined is completely different from every other horse on the planet. Stick around, because today we are counting down 18 of the cutest miniature horse breeds you can actually bring home as a real pet, backed by real genetics research, real government regulations, and real Guinness World Record holders. By the end of this video, at least 3 of these facts are going to make you stop and say, wait, that is actually real. Before we start counting, if you love learning the strange hidden truths behind animals everyone thinks they already understand, hit subscribe right now. This channel exists to dig past the cute thumbnail and get to the actual research, and this list is one of the deepest we have ever put together. Let us get into it. Quick myth to bust before we start the countdown. Almost every small horse gets casually called a pony. That is actually incorrect. A pony is a completely separate genetic type, with a stockier body, a thicker coat, and different bone proportions built for surviving cold, harsh terrain. A miniature horse is something else entirely. It is a full-size horse's exact proportions, shrunk down through generations of deliberate selective breeding. That is the entire founding idea behind breeds like the Falabella and the American miniature horse. And here is the detail that trips up even lifelong horse people. Every other horse and pony breed on Earth is measured in hands, at the top of the withers, which is the shoulder. Miniature horses are measured completely differently, at the last hairs of the mane. That single rule is the reason a horse that would technically be classified as a 40-inch pony under one system can squeeze into a miniature horse registry as a 38-inch miniature under another. It is not only about how small the horse actually is. It is about exactly where you place the tape measure and who is holding it. Number 18 is not technically a breed at all. It is a rare genetic category, and once you hear the story behind it, you will understand exactly why it earns its own spot on this list. Every so often, within completely normal miniature horse bloodlines, a foal is born with a condition called chondrodysplastic dwarfism. The most famous documented case in history is a horse named Thumbelina, born in the year 2001 in St. Louis, Missouri. She stood just 17.5 inches tall and weighed only 57 pounds, smaller than most bulldogs. Her birth was so difficult that her owners initially believed she was stillborn and performed mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to bring her back to life. Guinness World Records eventually certified her as the smallest horse ever recorded. She used actual dog doors to move around the farm, slept in a doghouse, and needed custom-made orthotic horseshoes because standard ones simply did not fit her tiny hooves. For years, she worked as a therapy horse, visiting cancer patients and burn victims across more than 180 cities, with parents telling her owners it was the single happiest moment of their child's entire life. Researchers at the University of Kentucky's Gluck Equine Research Center eventually traced the underlying cause to specific mutations in a gene called ACAN. 4 separate mutations were identified, and here is the unsettling part. Certain combinations of those mutations are actually lethal before birth, ending a pregnancy before a foal is ever born. Genetic testing for this condition only became commercially available in 2014, meaning for most of miniature horse breeding history, breeders had absolutely no way to predict it or prevent it. Number 17 is the Dartmoor pony, native to the rocky, windswept moorland of Dartmoor National Park in England. This breed tops out around 50 inches tall, but do not let the size fool you. For centuries, these ponies were used to physically haul loads of stone out of quarries and mines. Today, they are mostly known as gentle first ponies for children, but their stocky, powerful build is a direct leftover from generations of literal hard labor underground. Number 16 is the Exmoor pony, one of the oldest and toughest pony breeds in all of Britain. Semi-feral herds still live wild on Exmoor moorland today, surviving outdoors through brutal weather with no shelter and no human intervention whatsoever. Despite that wild, rugged background, Exmoors have a famously calm and gentle temperament, which is exactly why they have become one of the more popular children's riding ponies in the United Kingdom. Number 15 is the Welsh Mountain Pony, also officially known as Welsh Section A. Historians believe this breed has existed in the Welsh Mountains since prehistoric times, likely descending from ancient Celtic ponies that roamed Britain thousands of years ago. Despite that genuinely ancient lineage, it is now one of the most popular first ponies for children anywhere in the world, prized for being sturdy, kind, and easy for beginners to handle. Number 14 is a genuine surprise most mini horse lists completely skip: the Caspian Horse from Iran. It is rarely included in miniature horse content, but standing under 11 and a half hands, it is genuinely tiny. And here is the twist almost nobody expects. Genetic and skeletal research suggests the Caspian may actually be an ancestor of hot-blooded horse breeds like the Arabian and possibly even the thoroughbred. In other words, one of the smallest horses alive on Earth today might be directly related to the bloodline behind some of the biggest, fastest, most famous racehorses in modern history. Number 13 is the Falabella blend, sometimes marketed as a cross mini. Because genuinely purebred Falabellas are so rare worldwide, most modern American breeding programs cross Falabella bloodlines with American miniature horse bloodlines instead to stretch the limited gene pool further. If you buy something advertised online today as a Falabella here in the United States, there is a real chance what you are actually receiving is a blend rather than a true purebred, and most buyers never even think to ask the difference before paying. Number 12 is the miniature Appaloosa, instantly recognizable by its spotted coat pattern. This one comes with an actual world record attached to it. A miniature Appaloosa named Bomble, living at Cascada Stud Farm in Lodz, Poland, currently holds the Guinness World Records title for smallest living male horse, measured at just 22.36 inches tall, shorter than most greyhound dogs. And it is not just a title he carries around for show either. Bombell reportedly makes volunteer visits once a month to a local children's hospital, spending his days as both a record holder and a working therapy animal. We are officially past the halfway point of this countdown. If you are learning even one fact right now that you never knew before, tap that like button, because it genuinely helps a channel like this reach more people who actually care about real research instead of recycled clickbait. Now let us keep going. Number 11 is the South African miniature horse, governed by its own national breed standard that keeps individual horses under roughly 37 inches tall. Like most miniature standards around the world, it developed completely independently from the American version, which proves something interesting. Miniaturizing horses was not just an American or an Argentine idea. Breeders on multiple continents landed on essentially the same concept, completely separately from each other. Number 10 is the Dutch miniature horse, registered under a stud book known as the NMPRS. This breed was deliberately created by crossing Falabella, American miniature, and other established mini bloodlines, specifically to build a distinctly European version of a scaled-down horse, rather than simply importing American or Argentine bloodlines wholesale. Number 9 is the British miniature horse, capped at around 34 inches under its own dedicated registry standard, separate from every other country's system. It is further proof that nearly every horse-loving nation on Earth eventually developed its own miniature breed standard, instead of ever agreeing on one single global definition of what counts as miniature. Number 8 is the Noma, one of only 2 horse breeds native to Japan, originating specifically from the Ehime Prefecture region. It is critically endangered today, and almost no one outside of dedicated horse breed circles has ever even heard its name spoken out loud. Number 7 is the Yonaguni, native to a single tiny island off the coast of Japan. Standing around 47 inches tall, it was historically used for farm work and for hauling goods across the island's rugged terrain. Like the Noma, it is now critically endangered, with active conservation efforts trying to keep the bloodline from disappearing entirely. Number 6 is the Guoxia, originally from southern China. Its name literally translates to under-fruit tree horse because it was small enough to walk freely beneath low-hanging orchard branches while carrying baskets of fruit during harvest season. Statues believed to depict this exact breed date back roughly 2,000 years. For decades, the Guoxia was widely believed to be completely extinct until 1981, when a surviving population of around 1,000 animals was unexpectedly discovered living wild in a remote, rocky part of China. It is still considered a rare breed today, with conservation efforts ongoing. Number 5 is the American Shetland pony, And this one genuinely might surprise you. It is not one single look. It is split into completely different types. Foundation, which stays close to the stocky build of the original island Shetland. Classic. And modern, which is deliberately crossed with Hackney ponies to create an extreme, high-stepping show gait that barely resembles the original breed at all anymore. Some smaller American Shetlands even go through something called hardship registration into official miniature horse registries once they measure small enough, meaning a single individual horse can legally hold both Shetland papers and miniature horse papers at the very same time. Number 4 is the original Shetland pony from Scotland, developed over roughly 2,000 years in one of the harshest climates anywhere in Britain. When forage completely disappeared during the winter months, Shetlands adapted by grazing directly on seaweed along the rocky coastline. During the Industrial Revolution, their small size combined with raw physical strength made them ideal coal mine workers, known historically as pit ponies, with some individuals documented pulling roughly double their own body weight through narrow underground tunnels. Number 3 is the American miniature horse, Division B, standing between 34 and 38 inches tall. Most people do not realize American minis actually compete in 2 entirely separate height divisions at official shows, including the AMHR National Championship held annually in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which regularly draws over 1,500 miniature horses to a single event, making it one of the largest horse shows in the entire country, of any breed at any size. Number 2 is American Miniature Horse Division A, capped at 34 inches tall. The American Miniature Horse Association, founded in 1978, has now registered well over 200,000 of these horses across the United States alone, making it arguably the single most successful miniature horse program anywhere on Earth. And that brings us to number 1. The Falabella from Argentina, widely considered the world's smallest true horse breed, standing as little as 28 inches tall at maturity. The origin story starts in the 1840s, when a man named Patrick Newtall spotted unusually small horses living wild within herds belonging to the Mapuche people near Buenos Aires. He began deliberately breeding the smallest individuals he could find, starting in 1868. After his death, his son-in-law, Juan Falabella, inherited the herd and refined it even further, introducing Welsh pony, Shetland, and small thoroughbred bloodlines into the mix. Here is the fact that genuinely stops people in their tracks. Falabellas actually have 1 fewer pair of ribs and only 17 vertebrae total, instead of the usual 18 found in normal-sized horses. This is a real, measurable skeletal difference, not simply a smaller version of an ordinary horse. And despite standing barely 2.5 feet tall, Falabellas are documented clearing jump obstacles up to 3 full feet high, a genuinely impressive athletic feat for an animal this size. Today, purebred Falabellas are incredibly rare. Only around 400 are officially registered as purebred across the entire continent of Europe, and total worldwide numbers are estimated to sit somewhere in the low thousands. Before we wrap up completely, here are 2 final things almost nobody realizes about actually owning one of these animals, and they might be the most important facts in this entire video. First, under United States federal law, the miniature horse is the only animal besides a dog that can be legally recognized as a service animal. Not cats, not monkeys, nothing else qualifies. This specific exception was written directly into the Americans with Disabilities Act back in 2010. The whole idea actually started in 1998, when North Carolina horse trainers Janet and Don Burleson noticed during a routine ride that horses seemed to sense upcoming street crossings almost instinctively on their own. They founded the Guide Horse Foundation the very next year. Their first ever trainee was literally named Twinkie, and early training sessions had genuine real-world setbacks, including one well-documented incident where a mini horse in training grabbed a candy bar directly off a store shelf during a practice outing. The first official human user of a trained guide horse was a man named Dan Shaw, who specifically chose a horse over a dog because he did not want to face the grief of eventually losing another service animal after his childhood pet dog had already passed away. One major reason some handlers genuinely prefer a service horse over a service dog is simple. Horses can live 25 to 35 years and work for decades at a time, while guide dogs typically retire after only 8 to 10 years of service. That means a single guide horse can realistically outlast 3 or 4 separate guide dogs over one person's lifetime. There is one real legal catch, though. A 2021 Department of Transportation rule limits airline cabin service animals to dogs only, meaning even a fully trained, legally recognized service miniature horse can still be turned away at the airport gate. Second, these animals are absolutely not a cheap, low-effort starter pet, no matter how small and adorable they look online. A basic pet quality mini horse typically runs anywhere from $500 to $3,000, but registered show or driving minis can climb up to $15,000, and elite competition bloodlines have genuinely sold for over $50,000 at auction. On top of the purchase price, plan on spending at least $3,500 a year just on routine veterinary care, plus regular farrier visits every 6 to 8 weeks for professional hoof trimming. Because yes, even a horse this small still absolutely needs its hooves maintained by a professional. Most counties across the United States legally treat miniature horses under the exact same zoning and livestock ordinances as full-sized horses, which means in many places you will need at minimum a quarter to half an acre of safe, properly fenced land, regardless of how genuinely small the animal actually is. Equine behavior specialists also stress something that surprises almost every new owner. Miniature horses are herd animals at their core, and most experts strongly discourage keeping just one alone in a backyard because a solitary mini will often try to socialize with humans the exact same way it would with another horse, which can quickly create real behavioral problems if nobody sets clear boundaries early on. And veterinary research has found something else worth knowing. Miniature horses are especially prone to a dangerous metabolic condition called hyperlipemia, where stress or reduced feed intake causes fat to rapidly mobilize into the bloodstream. A real and sometimes fatal risk that is far more common in minis and ponies than it is in full-size horses. Studies have even found that smaller horse and pony breeds tend to have comparatively larger teeth relative to their body size than bigger breeds, because teeth simply did not shrink at the same rate their bodies did through generations of selective breeding. One final piece of the puzzle almost no owner fully understands going in. In the United States alone, there are actually 3 separate, overlapping registries relevant to what people casually call a miniature horse. The American Miniature Horse Association, capped at 34 inches. The American Miniature Horse Registry, which splits into 2 separate divisions. And the American Shetland Pony Club. A single horse can legally hold registration papers in more than one of these organizations at the exact same time, and small Shetlands are regularly hardship registered directly into miniature horse registries once they measure small enough as adults. In other words, the adorable little miniature horse you see advertised online may actually be carrying Shetland ancestry that never even made it onto the paperwork. So there you have it. 18 of the most surprising, most genuinely misunderstood miniature horse breeds on the entire planet, backed by real genetic research, real government regulations, and real Guinness World Record holders, not recycled internet trivia. If this video taught you even one single fact you honestly did not know before you clicked play, do 3 quick things right now. Hit subscribe so you never miss what we cover next. Drop a comment telling me exactly which breed on this list surprised you the most. And send this video to the one friend in your life who still insists every small horse is just a pony. Turn on notifications too, so you catch every new deep dive the moment it goes live. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the very next one.